Hello, hello, hello. Really quickly, I just want to thank you all for tuning in to episode 12 from a couple weeks ago featuring Alyssa de Jesus. I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in. Continue to share your stories and your questions. And, if you have anything that's going on in your dating or personal life, definitely submit it to situationspodcast.com/submit. All right, cool. All right, on to the show. You don't want to come off as thirsty as fuck or desperate as fuck, but at the same time, you don't want to come off as distant, like, damn, this person never really texts or this person never gets back to me. By the time this person gets back to me, the plan or whatever it is has already ended and this person has just missed the entire fucking boat because they took too long to get back. Hello, 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 and welcome to Situaseans Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka Shawnee Do. You can call me Sean, Shawnee, Shawnee Do. Does not matter to me. I'm just glad that y'all are here. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I love y'all. Appreciate the love and support. Like, seriously, whenever you all listen to this podcast and share it with your friends, your families, your coworkers, your enemies, like anybody out there, whenever you share this podcast, it literally helps this podcast grow. It helps others find this podcast valuable. And most important of all, it allows so much love to be dripped onto my heart. And when you submit your stories, your questions, anything about dating, relationships, or anything in life in general, anything that you have a question about, submit it here on the show so that we can unpack it together. And it's anonymous, so nobody's going to know who submitted what. And again, we all are in this together. So submit your stories, situationspodcast.com/submit. Whenever you do that, I swear, just so many drops of love on my heart. Submit, submit, submit. Drip, drip, drip. Now, I'm so glad that y'all are here with me today because I want to talk about the whole thing when it comes to, like, how often should you text your crush? Like, that's a really good question. Like, how often should you text somebody that you're into, somebody that you're seeing, a situationship, whatever have you, or even if it's somebody that you want to get to know and you're like, okay, like, when should I initiate that message? How often am I like, should I do that? On top of that, I want to talk about, these dating app openers and the lack thereof, especially when people are submitting or like, when someone sees a profile on a certain dating app, they're just like, hey, sup? Like, what? Like, put some more thought into that. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And a listener submission involves that. It talks about the lack of effort when it comes to these openers on dating apps. So that's a really great topic. A lot of us can relate. I can relate because I can't tell you how many times someone has reached out to me on a dating app and been like, hey, like, come on, like, let's put a little bit more thought into that. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. So yeah, we want to definitely cover all of that. And I'm so glad that y'all are here again. Episode 13. Let's fucking go. I'm so glad that we are continuing to put out these episodes. I appreciate you all for listening. And those of you on the Patreon, y'all some real ones. I really appreciate it. Like, if anything, I want more of you to join the Patreon. I'm going to start doing giveaways and I'm going to start doing some other incentives as well. And I always post behind the scene content on the Patreon, patreon.com/situationspodcast. So Yeah, and even the screenshots and stuff, well, from the different situations that I go through. So there is no lack of content on the Patreon. And if you want the exclusive benefits, the secrets that no one else can know, only you can know if you're on the Patreon, because the Patreon is where it all goes down, if you know what I mean. No, but for real, join the Patreon. I highly, highly, highly encourage it. So getting back to the whole point of how often should you text your crush, there's just so much that goes into that. It depends on, how far along are you in this interaction or in this conversation, or how far along are you when you two are communicating? Is this like a brand new crush, or is this someone you've known for a while and it's like, okay, like, let's get this thing going. Like, let's see where this can go. So it all depends on how far along in that individual situation, journey, or what have you. So it varies. But at the same time, we all have multiple people that we have a crush on or getting to know. And then it's important not to come off as thirsty, first and foremost. You don't want to come off as like thirsty and just like texting them all the damn time, every fucking like 10 minutes or every hour or some shit like that. It depends on how. Now, if it's an hour, I guess it just depends on maybe the person that you're texting is a frequent texter and you're a frequent texter. If that's the case, then that's a match made in heaven. Like, sure, go for that. But I'm just saying, you don't want to text every minute, if that makes sense. Like, have a little like time in between that message so you can have a formulated response. And on top of that, that expression, like the heart grows fonder with distance, and kind of apply that here in a texting situation. The heart grows fonder in between the cadence of however long it takes for that person to get back to you. Because I don't want someone getting back to me like within like 2-3 minutes or whatever, unless it's like, hey, I'm outside or some shit like that. But if it's like we're not together on that day and we're doing our own thing, then like get back to me when it's convenient. Don't get back to me just because you want me to get back. Don't get back to me because you're like, oh my God, like I got him waiting on the other end of the phone. It's like, I'm probably working or, doing this podcast or something else. So, I act as well. So I'm probably on stage. So it doesn't matter to me personally, like how soon somebody gets back to me, unless it's like, within a certain like time frame or whatever. And I'll get to time frames in a second. But yeah, you don't want to come off as thirsty as fuck or desperate as fuck. But at the same time, you don't want to come off as distant. Like, damn, this person never really texts or this person never gets back to me. By the time this person gets back to me, the plan or whatever it is has already ended, and this person has just missed the entire fucking boat because they took too long to get back. So you don't want to come off as distant, because if you come off as distant, then people are going to just eventually fall off and be like, you know what? I don't fuck with that person. Like, they take way too long to get back to me. Like, they don't like me or something like that. I'm not going to waste my time here. I'm going to just go to the next thing, So, hey, it's it's wild that as a society, as far as social customs, it continues to change as, society and the apps, technology, the way we think is different than what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and so on. So it's almost like you have to just read what the current customs is of the current environment that you live in. Maybe it's an environment where people are rarely getting back to each other, or an environment where people are always texting back and forth every 5 fucking seconds. I don't know, but I'm just saying, generally, you want to stay somewhere in the middle. You want that happy medium. You don't want to be too close and just always on it every 5 seconds. And you don't want to be too distant, whereas like that person can't tell if you like them or not. So find a happy medium. And another quick call out to, You don't want to come off as the person that's just always blowing up the other person's phone. I've been through that in so many situations where it's like, God damn, like this person is always messaging me like every 5 seconds about a question about something, or it's something that could have waited until like we were in person together or something like that. It just depends. But and this goes outside of like texting and communicating with a crush. Like I've had friends that just blow my fucking phone up all goddamn day. Like in the past, I've had to be better about boundaries and let them know like, hey, like if it's not an emergency or if it's something that can wait until we hang out, then like, yeah, let's try to be mindful, because I don't want to open up my phone to 20 mixed text messages and stuff like that if it's not important, or if it isn't relevant to what it is that we're about to do later on that day. Don't get me wrong. I like texting my friends. I like being in contact, but don't blow my phone up with 20 different messages if it has no real, I guess, like purpose. Let's have purpose behind those messages, shall we? I like a good meme every once in a while. It's like, cool, send that, DM me a meme or whatever. Some of my friends do DM me memes or funny videos. I like that shit. But yeah, if it's just like one word texts every 5 minutes, yo, yeah, cool, I like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Also, I want to call out group chats. Oh my fucking God. Group chats. Let me just go ahead, and this is going to be another episode as well. I want to make an episode about group chats because this is nuts. Unless you're sending this podcast to the group chat, like when it comes to group chats, I just don't really understand why people feel the need to make group chats and just spam people with a bunch of fucking shit all goddamn day. It depends on what the group chat is. If there's a group chat of memes or whatever, and you all know that that's the purpose of that group chat, fine. But if it's just like a random group chat and I'm getting updates about, I don't know, you eating, and now you're watching TV, and now you're in the car driving somewhere. Like, I don't need to know what the fuck you're doing every 5 seconds if this is in the group chat. Like, come on, like, text that to I don't know, your significant other or somebody that you're seeing or somebody else. I don't know, but don't put it in a group chat. And even with a lot of group chats in my family, I know my family doesn't listen to my podcasts because what I'm about to say, like, because I've said some really like, you know, heart to heart shit, and I haven't been getting messages about some of the things that irk me that I air out on this show. So I know for a fact my family don't listen to this podcast. So what I'm about to say is like definitely, I don't know, it's not like controversial, but it is a little bit annoying. So literally every once in a while, someone in the family feels a need to like loop 20 of us into a group chat and then send a bunch of just like, I don't know, random stuff. And I get it if it's like holiday greetings or someone's birthday, cool. But if it's just like some funny picture or some, I don't know, random video that has nothing to do with whatever it is that we are all in this group chat for, come on, like, let's not send stuff every day. Like, if we're going to have a group chat, there should be a certain amount of, I guess, posts that should be in a group chat so that we're not all being bombarded every 5 seconds or every 2-3 times a day about something that may not be of interest or may not be of a hot topic to everybody else in the group chat. So let's respect the rules of the group chat. The group chats are there to communicate and come up with plans if there is a plan coming or if there is something happen or a holiday. Like, let's get back to the whole purpose of a respectful group chat. Okay. That's going to be another episode, but That's all I'm going to say about it. Now, it's okay if you have a busy schedule and you can't get back to your crush in a certain amount of time. And the person that you're seeing or the person that you're interested in, they can't expect you to get back to them whenever they want you to get back to them, and vice versa. You can't expect them to get back to you whenever you want to. That's not fair. Like there's only so many hours in a day, and we have to be respectful and mindful of each other's time and other commitments and such. So yeah, like we need to be a little bit more careful about how often we're texting other people. Let's keep it respectful. I realized I didn't have my nice little mood lighting on the side here. So if you're watching on YouTube and you just notice that that's on, like, yo, I gotta have my mood lighting. So it's just a little random call out. But yeah, Situaseans podcast, we keep things real. We keep things open and transparent. Like, yeah. So if you just notice that light is on, like, yo, tell me what you think about this setup if you are watching. Like, let me know if there's something that you want to see me incorporate here on the wall. Maybe I'll have Patreon subscribers, like if they have anything that they want to put up there. Yeah, if you're on the Patreon, then yeah, I might put something on the wall for y'all if you're a Patreon subscriber. So you never know. So just wanted to call that little cool thing out. Kind of coming back to it, if you expect your crush or the person that you're seeing to I don't know, if you're expecting them to get back to you at a certain amount of time, you're only setting yourself up for disappointment and almost kind of like failure, because I guess not failure, but it's just going to come off as clingy, because if you're expecting someone to be at your disposal, you're always going to be disappointed, because no one is your property and you are no one's property. So you can't have a hold on somebody like that, and you can't expect somebody to get back to you at a certain time. It should just be natural. If they can get back to you, they will get back to you. And same thing in your situation. When you can get back to them, you can get back to them. So let's play it fair. Let's be even and not expect or over, kind of just like set, I guess, unimaginable expectations when it comes to reaching out to your crush or somebody that you're interested in. What I was saying earlier about how the heart grows fonder with distance, that's so fucking true. And your dating your crush should not be, I don't know, you shouldn't be all over each other 100% of the time. It's okay to have other commitments and other friend groups and other activities and other things in your schedule to break up that time, so that when you do come back together, that quality time is so cherished and it's so, I guess important. It's like a nice warm feeling. So yeah, have other things in your schedule, have other things that you can do, and that the other person can do when you have that time away, whether that's work, a hobby, family, friends, travel, whatever have you. Have a little bit of I guess, create a little bit of distance, like a healthy distance. And let's say one of you is traveling somewhere, now that kind of is another thing that comes into play as well. If one of you is traveling somewhere and, you are used to that person texting you 24/7 all the time. Now, if they're traveling, you're going to have to kind of get used to whatever schedule that they're on. If they're across the fucking world, you can't expect, hey, why haven't they gotten back to me in an hour or two or whatever it is? It's well, they're a whole half or a whole continent away. So the time difference, that's one. If they're traveling around, 2, do they have a signal? 3, where in the world are they? Or are they doing an activity? 4. So it's just there's so many factors. So when it comes to traveling, that's another thing. Be prepared to get a less cadence response from that special somebody that you're seeing or have interest in. So play it. You gotta, I hate to say this this sounds so cliche, but it is true. You do gotta play it cool. You shouldn't be all over the other person. They're traveling, they're doing their thing. cool. If you're traveling, you're doing your thing, cool. Like, you can't, if you're traveling, you shouldn't expect the other person to, like, like you would be, imagine if you're on a plane and the minute you touch down somewhere, you get like a whole bunch of messages from your crush and they're like, how come you haven't responded to me? Da, 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 da. It's like, yo, like I was on a plane like for however many hours. Like you like, especially if the plane ain't got Wi-Fi or whatever, how am I supposed to text you? Like how? How sway? Oh my goodness. Like those of you that have seen that Kanye meme, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so at the same time, again, going back to it, if you're traveling, yeah, it's okay to get back to the other person when you can. One thing that is so fucking annoying that a lot of people can relate with me on this is whenever someone you're texting, let's say they're terrible at getting back to you or they don't get back to you at all, but then you post something on social media and now they're liking or commenting or whatever. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, where the fuck have you been? Like, that's like that shit irks the fuck out of me. Like that's happened to me before. And it's rare that I'll ever add a crush that I, am just getting to know on my social media. But I gotta really like you if I'm adding you to my social media. I'm just gonna say that. But I'll never. Now here's another thing. Like if I'll add a crush on social media if they reach out and ask, but I'm not the one that initiates that. I'm like, I don't need them on my socials. But if they reach out and like, oh, hey, like, can I get your social, whatever, and we've hung out a certain number of times. Yeah, I'll add them or whatever, add them back or whatever. But, yeah. Now when it comes to like posting a crush on social media, oh no. I'm at the point in my life where it's the only time I'll ever post somebody on my social is if like we're married at this point. Like I ain't soft launching or hard launching anybody until like I'm like like full on committed to somebody. So yeah, like, and everybody has their preferences. I'm just telling you mine because I don't want to post something or post like somebody that I'm seeing on my Insta and it ain't gonna last. I just got like, I don't know. I got everybody invested in something that might not even have longevity. So everybody has their preferences, but I digress. But yeah, coming back to it, if, and this goes for like both ways, like don't ignore your crush's text, but then the minute like your crush posts something online or a story or a video or whatever, now you're like hopping back in. It's like, no, if you want to play that hard to get, kind of off the grid shit, then keep that fucking same energy when you or whenever your crush posts on social media. Like, leave it the fuck alone, because all they're gonna do is just upset the other person. Be like, damn, so you can't respond to a message, but now you want to be on here. And now that I'm thinking about it, like like, oh my god, like I know for a fact, like it's like somebody that I know has gone through a similar situation like that. Like it's crazy. And even in my own life, that's happened to me. Like, honestly, that's happened, I don't know, like maybe like 2 or 3 significant times in my dating life. Cause like, again, it's rare that I add somebody that I'm seeing it on my social media. But yeah, unless it's, like I'll add them if I've hung out with them for a while, but everybody's different. So yeah, so I've gone through that as well. And it's so fucking annoying. It really is. So if you're going to play off the grid, stay off the grid. I'm just saying, can't have it both ways. Play one side, stick to it. It's important to have boundaries. Have a cutoff rule. So if the person that you're hanging out with or you have interest in, like they take 2 or 3 days to get back to you to respond, set a certain boundary. Like, here's the thing. If they get back to you within a day, within that same day, cool. If they get back to you the next day, okay, it's a little questionable. 2 or 3 days, I feel like at that point, that should be the cutoff. If it takes more than 72 hours or more than 3 days for them to get back to you, then you may have to start exploring other options and be like, hey, Because here's the thing, unless it was an emergency or it's some work related thing, like that's understandable. But if you're into that person, you're going to create time and make time to reach out and be in contact with that person. And if you're not interested, then of course you're not going to it's not going to be the top of your mind to get back to that person if you're not really interested in that person. Like, let's just call it what it is. But if it takes that long for you or someone you're seeing to like get back to each other, then yeah, that maybe should be the cutoff date. Like after 3 days, if they don't want to get back to you, cut that shit off. Just be like, yo, I have fun getting to know you, but it seems like something may have changed on your end. If you don't want to hang out anymore or if there is no interest, that's all right. But let me know, because I don't want to keep doing this if there's nothing there. I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time. So if you're still interested, then can you make an effort? If you're not interested, then let me know now so that I can move on to the next thing and I'm not, wasting my time here. So be clear and concise and let the other person know. If they're taking forever to get back to you, call them out on that shit. And if you're taking too long to get back to them, they're going to call you out on that shit. And you just got to you have to have that conversation. Like, talk about it. It's important. Now, in my current situation, yeah, there's I guess people that I'm like, like I'm not in a relationship, but there's like a crush that I'm like talking to or whatever. And yeah, and even in my personal experience, I have a busy schedule and so does my crush. And so the thing about it is we probably get back to each other maybe like once a day if we're lucky, sometimes twice a day, but it's definitely no more than like 2 times a day, like if we're lucky. So that's like every 6 something hours if we're lucky again. So we just have very busy schedules. I have like my regular day job, and then when I get off, I'm in rehearsals for musical theater production, and then after like rehearsals or when I'm free, quote unquote, if you're watching on YouTube, quote unquote, I'm making air quotes, but if you're listening, I'm just making air quotes. But yeah, free time. I'm either doing this podcast, or I'm playing basketball, or I'm trying to have a social life and hang out with friends whenever I can, or I'm hanging out with that person that I'm, just hanging like that crush that I'm just hanging with or whatever. So we both have, like, me and the person that I'm, hanging out with, we both have busy schedules. And so we try to hang out whenever we're able to make it work. And we we text back and forth whenever we're able to. And it works for us. Like, we've had that conversation from like day one, and it's so weird. I'm like, not to like sound like, I don't know, like arrogant or anything like that, but I'm so used to me always having a busy schedule because I just have so much shit going on. And usually it's like the other person that I'm hanging out with at the moment that is like, well, I'll work around your schedule because you're never free, So it's a little refreshing that the other person also has a busy schedule. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, now I don't feel bad about having all these different avenues and all these different hobbies and things that I got going on in my schedule, because they got their own life. They got their shit going on, and they're just as busy doing the things that they're doing. So it works out. So I think by me hanging out with this person, I'm starting to see that, like, yeah, it's cool it's almost cooler, like not cooler, but I guess it's almost preferable for me to hang out with somebody that has a lot of shit going on in their schedule. So yeah. And I think that it's cool. So it is what it is. And I think I prefer it that way because, like, again, none of us are feeling bad because we both got crazy ass schedules. Today is a great day to start your own podcast. Whether you're looking for a new marketing channel, have a message you want to share with the world, or you just think it would be fun to have your own talk show, podcasting is an easy, inexpensive, and fun way to expand your reach online. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. Your show can be online and listed in all the major podcast directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more within minutes of finishing your recording. Hey, can I let you in a little secret? So I use Buzzsprout to host Situaseans podcast, and let me tell you, it has been the easiest tool I've ever come across for publishing and running a podcast. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. So come on, join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Follow the link in the show notes, and that'll let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. And guess what? That gets you $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan, and overall, that helps support our show. Let's create something great together. Let's go ahead and jump right on into that listener submission. All right, so this listener submission is really good. I really appreciate you, the listeners, submitting your question, because so many people are experiencing the same thing that you've experienced. So I really want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for feeling comfortable and vulnerable enough to share your situation and your frustration. So yeah, let's go ahead and read from it. So this listener says, I've been on and off various dating apps over the last couple of years. I'm finding that initial messages are starting to read like tired pickup lines. Oh, I know exactly what you mean. So this person says, for example, hello, beautiful. How are you? Etc. I've got one that was just 2 letters, GM. I assume he meant good morning. My issue is that these quote unquote lines don't lend themselves to a conversation. I'm more likely to respond when someone asks a question or comments on something from my profile. Anyone else wanting more from an initial contact? Like, this is so true. So fucking true. Like, it's frustrating when it's like you have put together a thought out profile. You have prompts on your profile that gauge someone who comes to your profile. It gives them something to reach out to and pretty much get the conversation going based off of something on your profile. Like, oh, hey, you're really into this. That's so cool. Like, yeah, like, what led to your passion for this, or how'd you get involved in that? Like, so it's almost like a what do you call it? Like a disservice to the person, like, to you, the listener, because you've put together this thought out profile, and there's guys out here that are just texting GM or sup, hey, cool, yo, well, how's it going, or whatever it is. And it's just like, yeah, like, that's so frustrating. I don't blame you for not even entertaining that, because if you entertain that, I can only imagine what that conversation will be like once, let's say if you were to engage with that. Let's say you did respond and be like, and now the conversation is going. That person probably could be a shitty texter and only texts 1-word sentences, or just very short sentences, or doesn't even try to get to know you. And that would just be annoying. And now you're just like, well, I just wasted my time talking with this person for the last day or 2, or however long it carried on for on the app. So yeah, like, kudos to you for curbing that and being like, yeah, I'm not wasting my time with that. So yeah. And I think on top of that, what we're seeing in this modern dating environment is a lot of people, and I guess mostly men, they are out here just abbreviating their openers and just and thinking that they'll get a response. And then when these guys out here don't get a response, the response are like, what the fuck? How could they not responding? But then there are some women out here that do entertain that. And that's why a lot of these guys out here are continuing with these short openers or these not thought out openers like, sup, hey cutie, because there are some women that respond to that. And now that just eggs them on. And now they think, oh, every girl is going to respond to that when it's like, no, that is not the case. So yeah, to the listener, I just want to say, yo, thanks for doing the Lord's work and not even entertaining that shit. So yeah, if you're more likely to respond to a thought out profile, like that's amazing because you've put that amount of work into your profile. The very fucking least that a potential match can do is just have a decent opener or something or some type of opener that lets you know that they're into you, and in turn that kind of lets you know, okay, a little bit about what type of person that they might be, or whether or not that they're going to put in the effort when it counts. So yeah, the least that they can do is try to put a little bit of effort. You put in the effort to make that profile, they can put in the effort to give you a good opener. So I fully agree. So yeah, a really good opener is the key to starting good conversations on dating apps. A lot of people out here, men and women, would prefer a good opener. There are some men and women that don't care about how somebody starts the conversation off with, and then there are some people that do care. I'm a person that do care. I care about the opener because like some people are lazy and are just reaching out to people and they're just like using short like those short greetings because they're either reaching out to multiple people. So they're like, oh, well, I don't want to put in the effort. I don't want to say this thought out response to these 20 people's profiles that I just landed on. I'm gonna just keep it short, sweet, and simple, and hopefully one of them reaches out. And that's like a shitty way to go about it. And that's exactly why the dating apps are starting to become oversaturated, because it's like, yeah, you got people that are not putting in the effort or that just don't give a fuck and that want instant results, when it's like we're all on these apps because we're trying to make a genuine connection. By the person out there, that's like whoever it is that's like submitting good morning, like GM or sup, cool. They're fucking it up for everybody. They're fucking it up for everybody that's on the app that wants a genuine connection. So to the people that don't give a fuck about their openers, I don't know, like go on social media and DM somebody, or if you don't want to put in the effort on a dating app, especially if you're paying for the dating app. Why are you, for those of you that are paying for the dating app, you should make the most of that and not be fucking around, because that's your money that you're wasting. I mean, if you want to waste $30 a month or however the fuck it is, well, depending on whatever app you're on, then by all means do it, but don't waste other people's time. Come on now. And playing devil's advocate, I think men should at least have a more, thought out response if they don't necessarily know what to say. Like, I don't know, do a copy and paste kind of thing as far as like, and you know what, men, I'm gonna give you some game right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just drop some knowledge on you. If you are coming across a lot of profiles, and if these profiles are thought out, you can literally have a copy and paste like opener. It could literally just be like, let's say someone on their profile, let's say a girl or a guy or whoever it is that you're dating, or not, dating, like whoever it is that you have interest in. Like when you come across their profile, they got pictures and stuff like that on their profile, depending on, like, let's say they got pictures of traveling or whatever. You could literally be like, hey, I noticed the pictures of your profile. Like that's so cool that you get to travel to so many destinations. Are there any places that you're going next? Or you could just say, hey, of all the places that you've been, are there any favorite destinations? Like, that is so simple. You will be more likely to get a response. And this is, this goes for men and women. Like, it doesn't matter who you identify as. Like, that right there that simple opener, that can literally get you a conversation started. Just saying. Like, if they're interested in you, they will respond. I can't guarantee that everybody that you send it to will respond, but I'm just saying that's a decent opener because it lets them know, oh, okay, this person is interested. They enjoyed your photos and now they want to know about how well traveled you are. And like, yeah, maybe you can provide tips about a place that you've gone or and give travel advice. You never know. Or if somebody just has a well thought out profile, here's another good opener. Hey, I like what you put on your profile about XYZ. Tell me more about that. Or what led you down that journey or what led your passion for XYZ. Boom. Like men, for the guys out there, if you're sending something like that and and you're coming across a profile of a woman or somebody's profile that you're interested in, you send that message, I guarantee you your chances of getting a response are going to be super fucking higher than the opposite if you were to just say, sup. So I just gave you some free fucking game. Men and women, use it. Like, I guarantee you that somebody is gonna reply to that. And yeah, if you feel inclined to share that experience, literally you could DM me, or you can go to situationspodcast.com/submit and you can submit that experience. Like, and guess what? That's going to help other people find it valuable, because if you submit it, I can literally, if you want to share like a screenshot, because now the submission form has a screenshot. So you can you can submit that screenshot, that interaction or whatever, that opener. And of course we blur out and censor names and faces and stuff like that. We want to protect we want to protect people, but they protect the innocent or whatever. But yeah, like that advice that I just gave you, use it. I guarantee you that opener is going to work. At the end of the day, to the listener that submitted their question, I'm the same way. Like, I prefer somebody that puts thought into their response, like as simple as, hey, just ain't gonna cut it for me as well. I resonate with you on that one. Cause I can't tell you how many times I've just gotten a hey, and like 80% of the time I just ignore that shit, because I'm just like, well, if they're not putting in the effort, why should I? Like, I'm not gonna entertain it. It's rare that I do entertain it. Like, it's so rare. And if the roles were reversed, let's say I liked them and then I say a simple, hey, I know for a fact they would probably just curb me and be like, yeah, no, this guy ain't putting in effort. Fuck that guy. So yeah, everybody that is on an app, especially if you are paying for the dating app, put more thoughtful responses into your openers when you're reaching out to a match. Do not go out on these apps and reaching out to people saying, hey, sup. It's just not going to work. Put thoughtful responses out there and you will get thoughtful responses and thoughtful conversations back. I just want to say thank you so much again to the listener for submitting your question. Really appreciate that. I want all of you to submit your material, submit your questions, your story. You can ask or submit anything. That's the whole goal of this podcast. It's about, dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. It's about everything. So submit, and drip love onto my heart. You know what? And bonus points if you send a submission and your submission says, hey, Shawnee, drip, drip. Because now we have a saying on this podcast, drip, drip, drip. So, hey, fucking submit. So yeah, there are 3 ways that you can submit. You can go to situationspodcast.com gmail.com/submit. And there's an anonymous form. I won't know who submitted what. You can submit all your stuff there. And the second way is to email us, situationspod@gmail.com. And then the third way, you can leave a voicemail, leave a voice, note, and we'll play it live on the show. And the number to that is 312-586-2664. Again, it's an anonymous hotline. No one's going to pick up. I'm not going to pick up. It ain't my fucking phone number. Some of you have asked. It's not my personal number. It's just a hotline. So yeah, submit, drip, drip, drip. And if you're on a plane, a train, a car, a mobile home, hell, if you're even sitting on the toilet right now, share this podcast with everybody and listen. Take Situaseans podcast with you. You're probably in the car right now, getting like on your way to work, or you're probably, putting on makeup before you get before you get ready to work, ladies or guys. Hey, I know if I had makeup, I probably would look like good as hell. Maybe I should try that. Let's see. You never know. But yeah. No, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're cooking at home, whatever, listen to Situations podcast or watch. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/@situationspod. So yes, take us wherever you go. And I really appreciate you all tuning in to this episode. I love you all. And I will see you all right back here for the next episode in a couple of weeks.